Hey guys, I am Ibigandscary. I'm bringing you another StarCraft 2 replay, this time featuring in our top left-hand side EmpireLerka from Team Empire. He is our blue Masters level Zerg, and his opponent in the bottom right is going to be ViperXk from Clan CKI. He is our red Terran. He is high diamond, not quite Masters yet. I know he's always in Masters by the end of the ladder, but evidently it's early enough in the season that he's still working his way up there. So he's still in diamond at the time of this replay. CKI, I'm not 100% sure where this edition came from, when it came about. I don't think it was there the last time I cast a game from ViperXk, but I've cast a couple of his games before. Never heard of EmpireLerka. I've never cast a game, and that's why right there. I'm back from inactive. So it looks like EmpireLerka is a new addition to Team Empire, maybe an old edition, and he's just now, coming back into the game. I do know that Empire has a lot of different teams that serve under them. It's kind of like with, Evil Genius, how they have a LoL and a StarCraft team. I do know that they employ some people who do fighting games too. So EmpireLerka is probably like that. They have a 2v2 team, I know that much. As well as just a straight up and down StarCraft 2 team, so maybe EmpireLerka plays on some of those, or he's just a really good guy that they picked up. Regardless, it's going to be a great game, because I know that ViperXk is on it, and Terran versus Zerg is by far one of the more entertaining of the matchups going on. That Supply Depot throwing it up on the high ground. Belshir Vestige does have like a moderate choke, and it is possible to wall it off, but it's pretty much suicidal. The rush distance is not the longest in the world, though it is a pretty long map. I'd say moderate to long map. So it's technically possible, but it is pretty difficult to do, especially at this skill level. We see a gas going down before pool after a hatchery, so a very aggressive build coming out from EmpireLerka. Getting that gas first before pool means that he's going to be able to get that speed out to kind of make it so the rush distance between the two matters even less. Despite the length of the map. We have a CC going down before barracks too. Also, wow, both players being very macro intensive. Only difference is that the gas was thrown down, and this kind of throws off the timing. Even though we've got the gas right after the barracks, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a Reaper opening. Probably is. I mean, having that extra gas makes it so that you can pop out a Reaper as soon as it's constructed. However, because the CC was going up, don't discount the fact that we might be seeing a factory just to get out some Hellions to help with the incoming pressure. Which, I mean, we've got that gas, we've got that spawning pool, we're going to be seeing Zergling speed, we're going to see some pressure. Both players really banking up a lot of minerals. Obviously, ViperXk is going to be making both of these into orbitals as soon as that barracks pops, so he's going to be spinning down pretty much 300 minerals. But where were those 300 minerals going for EmpireLerka? Oh, he's doing double queens. I love it whenever the timing meshes up like that. Get the hatcheries down, spawning pool finishes, bam, bam. 2 queens come out, and you can double up on your larva injects. Makes your macro mechanics a hell of a lot easier. However, it does delay that first larva inject, meaning that I think Lerka was getting out that Zergling speed more to see exactly what is happening at his opponent's base. Oh, look at that, 4 Zerglings hanging out already. I wonder. I don't know. He's not mining any more gas, which means it's probably not going to be a Baneling bust, even with the super early CC. EmpireLerka does not know that that CC has gone down just yet, but he does have a nice positioning of that Overlord, so he will be able to see the bunker, probably the CC, once it lands in the natural. Is he actually going to see it? No, it looks like he's going to have to pop in there and actually look to see if that orbital command has indeed landed in that natural. But nice positioning of the bunker, kind of cool pseudo wall off going on right now. Supply depots are probably going to supplement that whole thing. Really needs to get it up pretty quickly. The earliest rush timing that you can get on this map is about the 6:30 to 7 minute mark. 18 more Zerglings on the production tab, speed just now finishing. These Zerglings are going to be coming down, and it looks like it is going to be hitting right at the 6 to 6:30 minute mark. ViperXk throwing down its command center to actually complete this wall off, and while that is kind of a cool play, like it makes sense. I'm going to make a big building, so why not incorporate it in your wall off? Something that you can run into is the Zerglings are actually going to focus this down, do a lot of damage to that. Instead, well, they're going to town on the bunker, but a couple more swing over to hit the command center. Good repairs going down on the bunker. It looks like it will fall. It does. All the Marines and SCVs get targeted down. The command center is still being constructed, but it's still got about 1,000. There goes the cancel on that. Doesn't really get focused down or anything like that. Just focusing the cancel as the orbital command lifts off. Good control here from ViperXk. Keep that wall off. Complete back at home. SCV is going to be repairing, holding out just for a couple of seconds to get these Hellions out. Once these Hellions come out, all these Zerglings are going to have to retreat. It looks like every single one of the supply depots on the low ground has fallen. So in reality, ViperXk not losing a huge amount of resources. I mean, 1,000 resources does seem like a lot. But, oh man, one of the Hellions popping out on the wrong side despite the rally to the top right. That is bad news, just because, I mean, you really want 2 Hellions up there. Third already being taken by EmpireLerka, definitely having done the damage that he needs to do. Even a frisky Zergling being positioned underneath the orbital command. Like I was saying, the Muslim actually mentioned on his stream exactly why he doesn't incorporate his CC into his wall-off just with supply depots there. And it's because those Zerglings can really shell down a lot of damage. Obviously, that wall was going to fall even if it was completed with a supply depot. But it was interesting to get his opinion on it, because I never really thought about positioning that command center in that wall off and why exactly he doesn't do that. EmpireLerka coming in just to see him. Is he going to have to deal with a drop or anything like that? No, starport has gone down, but we do see the tech lab going to town on that stem, and it looks like as the Hellion numbers begin to rise, it really don't care how many Zerglings you have on the ground, unless you've got some roaches there to deal with that Hellion pressure. You're going to have to retreat, and that's exactly what's going to happen. These Hellions making their way out. Got to be careful. Really don't want yourself caught off in one of the nooks and crannies kind of there's all sorts of nooks and crannies in Belshir Vistage where you can get your Hellions kind of stuck, especially with this sheer number of Zerglings out on the field. All of the Zerglings rushing in, but the Hellions are positioned. They don't want to get caught. They don't want to. They're going to get caught. Oh no, they're retreating, but no, those Zerglings are really getting roasted as they get lined up. He is losing a single one of his Hellions, I think, to that pressure, but it looks like the orbital command has finally landed, and these Hellions having no problems cleaning up the last short amount. Oh man, here comes the Widow Mine hit, taking out one of the Hellions as well. But no, the last Hellion has survived, so they've definitely done their job. We can see that there are 2 more Widow Mines being produced. So as that natural expansion has been taken finally for ViperXk, he can kind of get back to work on his economy. 33 over 35, really not the worst thing in the world. But the third has been taken, and it's going to start to get saturated. So we're going to see the Zergling economy kind of bloom. You know. 4 gas total, 1-1 on the way. Lair as well. What is he going to throw down? Well, he's got the double Evo chambers, a macro hatch coming down, but nothing else to speak of. No Roachborn, even though he's seen the Hellions. I guess he saw the Widow Mines are out on the field also, so he knows that any push is going to be kind of slow and methodical. I don't know if the orbital command was within range. Actually, was the orbital command within range? It was. By the Overlord, when it was coming in and over the orbital command, it saw the tech lab, and it saw that the tech lab was working at the same time. So that means that he can probably suspect that Stem is going to be finishing up. 1-1 also on the way. I don't think that Viper's going to be pushing out at the point of Stem completion. Probably waiting for that starport to get out of the first round of medevac so he can do some counter drop aggression. We can see that double spore crawlers, spine crawlers going down behind the mineral lines also. So Lerka is probably realizing that he's put the Terran player a little bit on the back foot, and the go-to strat for most Terran players is to do a drop pressure. We got combat shields as well as 1-1 going to be finishing. Plenty of reactors are already out on the field, so as soon as the starport finishes, he's going to be switching for any one of these reactors and just going to town. It looks like just a little bit off on the timing, but that's okay, just 1 or 2 seconds. Third also completed for ViperXk, but really the locations for the third are so very, very exposed. I don't expect that Viper is going to be feeling comfortable enough to actually take his third. I mean, look how far away it is. The creep spread is really just top drawer for Lerka. I can't wait to see more of this, because obviously he's on his way up. Right now he seems to have plateaued at mid-masters, which is where this was, where he currently is on the ladder. I looked him up on Battle.net right before this game, but it's pretty obvious he's got great mechanics. He's probably just getting used to the new meta. Since he's been away for a little while. Spire more than halfway done, 2-2 on the way for our Zergling buddy. Interesting not to see a Baneling nest right now. I mean, it's obvious that there's a plethora of Marines out on the field. He's got good Overlord placement, so he can see all that stuff. And obviously, Baneling's just Baneling, Zergling, and Mutalisk is such a ironed out composition. It's so very, very good, and it counters this sort of play very well. I think that this is because Lerka doesn't quite realize how you're supposed to deal with the Widow Mines. If you've got primarily Zerglings and Banelings, it's very difficult. It requires a lot of micro. However, it's totally necessary, because Banelings are obviously the perfect counter to those Marines, especially with creep spread like this. It's going to be pretty much impossible for Lerka to hold off a slow and methodical push from this without some form of AoE. And he's got an Infestor Pit on the way, but is that for Ultralisk? Is he going to be pushing towards that, or is he going to be relying on Fungal Growths to actually hold them back? Whew. ViperXk finally taking his third, and it looks like that Lerka is not making motions like he wants to be very aggressive. He does have a lot of Mutalisks out on the field. He had 12 being produced just a short time ago. Where are they? They're moving down to the bottom left. It looks like a little bit of harassment is going to be coming on there. We have a Widowmine produced and just out on the outside of that wall off. Here comes a big hit. Oh my goodness, one of them goes down. Just a little bit in the yellow for the rest of them, but with no missile turrets there, even with the stem, it looks like the Marines are going to be able to push them back. One or two of those SCVs go down. 10 workers killed total for EmpireLerka, but I think the majority of that was from that initial aggression. And it looks like, oh, there goes 2 missile turrets, but all of the Marines have withdrew. And with no detection, I think Lerka is going to have to be very, very mindful of the fact that Widow Mines can be pretty much anywhere that they want to. A lot of them are out on the field right now. We can see 5 total for ViperXk. So yeah, those guys can definitely make a Mutalisk hurt quite a lot. Burrow on the production. Yeah, I like the idea of Burrow. That's something that we don't really see a lot anymore, and it used to be such a huge deal. I mean, those Baneling landmines were incredible. You could save a lot of your drones whenever there was a drop. We do see a Baneling nest finally on the production tab. I think that maybe Lerka wasn't expecting quite so many Marines just by his earlier scout. I mean, it's pretty obvious that he wasn't expecting such a large mobile force because he's got so many Zerglings already out. 3 pages of Zerglings, but no Banelings to speak of. And here comes the push from ViperXk. He's at 170 supply over 163 from Lerka, and there goes the scan, just poking in, seeing that the creep spread is indeed dominated about 40% of the map, and just kind of retreating. Ideally, that's what you want your Hellions to do earlier on, but ViperXk had to sacrifice those Hellions to actually crush them. Oh, an Overseer being picked off, which would have helped Lerka so much to deal with those Widow Mines. We can see that there's not a lot of Widow Mines added into this composition. 2 of them finally coming in, and that's going to definitely help out ViperXk as we see 17 Banelings on the production tab. A clutch scan from Viper, just seeing that those Banelings are out there. Remember that speed has not been researched for those Banelings, but you don't really need to. Pardon me. Screw you, cell phone. You don't really need speed whenever you've got creep spread like this, and Lerka's speed is definitely top drawer, especially considering the fact that his third is kind of tucked away. He hasn't succeeded in taking a fourth, and speaking of fourth, we have 2 command centers, one being constructed in the top left and the other one flying up there, but it looks like Lerka is going to be doing a flyby with so many of these Mutalisks. Oh wow, look at all those missile turrets, definitely rebuffing those Mutalisks. Oh, gotta be careful, really don't want to swing those up to the north side. We have all of the, oh, Baneling, clutch Baneling hit, and there goes the beautiful stem. My goodness, so many of those Mutalisks falling very, very quickly to these huge number of Marines. But while these Marines are incredibly good at taking out those Mutalisks, they've got to be very, very careful. We've got the centrifugal hooks on the way. The Banelings are back at home just waiting for that. Once those centrifugal hooks are done, I don't think either player feels comfortable enough to actually push in, because the second ViperXk steps on creep, Lerka is going to be there with a huge number of Banelings. He's got 70 more Zerglings on the production tab. I think about half of those are going to become Banelings. And, man, that's going to be a terrible engagement, I can tell you that right now. EmpireLerka picking away at that fourth, really doesn't want it to go up. Finally taking his own fourth, actually, a little bit farther afield than would he want to. Oh, wow. Taking 2 of them at pretty much the same time. Doesn't really need to saturate them, just nice to have those bases to fall back upon. I think he might get there pretty soon just because his main is getting mined out. He is on Hive. I don't believe I saw the Ultralisk Cavern going down. I don't think it has happened yet, but it probably will sooner or later. He's at 192. He's probably going to be waiting for this next big engagement to come to clean up and free up a lot of supply. Wow, 35 more Banelings on the production tab, but it is too late. It's too late. Here comes the push from ViperXk. So many Banelings and Zerglings just streaming in there. There goes the splitting, but some good Baneling hits, and it looks like that EmpireLerka is losing a massive amount of supply. Oh my goodness, where did his Mutalisks go? There's only 6 Mutalisks left. Finally, the Banelings that were being morphed up on the high ground have come out, but I think that ViperXk, just his splits were a little bit too good. He is coming out ahead with about 1/4 of the standing army that he had, but this hatchery is definitely going to go down Fortunately for him, Lurka does have another hatchery on the right side, which is going to be finishing up. However, with that base in the bottom left going down for Lurka, it looks like he's going to have a clean pathway into Lurka's natural. So ViperXk is going to be taking advantage of that, doing the scan, burrowing his Widow Mines, relying on these Zerglings. It would have been nice to have the Ultralisks up. Oh my goodness, the drone transfer barely skirting by as the Zerglings were kind of holding those Marines in at bay, but with 3-3 almost done, 3 ground weapons done, but 3 armor not quite done. Adrenal Glands also on the way. No Ultralisk Cavern down. Look at all this extra money for pretty much both players, but specifically for Lurka. He would have loved to have that Ultralisk Cavern down so he could actually take out this mainly Marine force, and that's obviously the answer in the HOTS. However, I think that this is just Lurka showing how far out of practice he is. Just doesn't know the metagame, knows that he needs to rely on that. It used to be Ultralisks were terrible. They weren't cost effective at all. Nowadays, they're incredibly good. Their splash damage is ridiculous. There goes the scan from ViperXk. However, he misses about half of the drones that were positioned there. Is he going to be swinging up into the third? It looks like he is. And ViperXk, once again, is going to have to rely on some pretty good splitting. The Banelings coming in, this time just absolutely wrecking the ground force from Lurka. Looks like pretty much everything is going to get cleaned up. And I think ViperXk is going to have to retreat. Oh no, a fresh swell of Marines and Marauders pushing in. We don't see any counter-aggression at all. This is just a straight-on slugging match between the two of them. And Lurka, despite having a massive bank right now, is just, with those Zerglings and Banelings, he can't hold this back. It looks like his third is going to fall, and with it goes the last hope that Lurka had to keep in this game. So yes, this is awesome. I mean, Lurka has these fantastic mechanics. You saw his creep spread was top drawer. He really kept those Mutalisks alive despite coming in and, just out of the blue. He's retreating from these missile turrets. He comes in and he sees this ridiculous army of Marines. He's like, whoop, and swings down to the south, just picks off a couple of supply depots, hopes that they're gone. They're not, so there goes the stem, and then he swings right. Really, really great play. Really nice map awareness from Lurka. However, he didn't know exactly how to read what was coming out of ViperXk. This is a pretty standard composition. It's a standard build. It's very normal to see primarily Marine and Widow Mine force until the Ultralisks get out, and then you switch over to the infrastructure of just mass-producing Marauders so you can actually deal with that. And I think that if those Ultralisks had come out, Lurka would have had absolutely no issue with crushing this entire standing force from ViperXk. He had the hive, he had the money. Really no excuse for that, except that he's coming back from retirement or inactivity or whatever. So he didn't know. He didn't know that Ultralisks are awesome. Well, newsflash, they are, and that's really the answer to this composition coming out of ViperXk. So yeah, I firmly suspect that Lurka's just going to keep climbing up those charts, and he's going to be pretty banging. Not to take anything away from ViperXk, like I said, Lurka's mechanics were top drawer, and obviously Viper was the better player right now. You guys are the better viewer right now because you're actually watching my replay. So if you have a cast you want me to do or a game you want me to look at, whatever, PM me here or on Reddit. One way or another, I will see you guys later. I am big and scary.